A frustrating game. Very slow. Very happy with our defence, and made a few errors with the footy, so our execution was down a bit. So a little bit disappointing in that area, but overall, we got through the game well, no injuries, but it was frustrating. Probably one of the slowest games I've seen for a while. Well, I mean, 21 penalties, a lot of stoppages. I think we can look at them in. We want to see a good game of rugby league, don't we? So we want to be allowed to play a little bit more. I thought, when we had 3 penalties in the first game against England and not many penalties again last week against France, and all of a sudden, both teams were penalised for a lot of things that every team's been getting away with.
Does that worry you going forward now? That you've got refs from all over the world?
Well, I mean, it's our showpiece. We should be allowed to play footy, and it was just a bit frustrating tonight because there was a lot of things, in the play of the ball area, or a lot of stoppages, around penalties or injuries, and that, normally you wouldn't see in our game. So yeah, I mean, I'm a little bit disappointed with that, but what I was very pleased with at half time, we talked about that, and I thought we handled that really well, in the second half, even though we were at times our worst enemy by, poor execution or dropping the ball when we didn't need to. But I thought we handled all the little niggles and all the stoppages really well.
So you thought that maybe played into the completion rate in the first half a bit?
Oh well, I mean, there's the hands in the tackle, and and not allowed to get up and play the ball cleanly, and late into the tackle as well. We don't see those sort of things normally. So we're trying to play attractive footy. We're trying to showcase the skills of the players, and I thought that wasn't allowed tonight.
Did you speak with Tony Archer in the week about it?
Oh, well, I guess as we go into the finals, we're going to get some referees who will hopefully allow the player to move forward.
Yesterday you spoke about doing the little things well. What positives do you take away from today?
Well, defensively we're outstanding, so we had to do a lot of work tonight defensively. We turned the ball over more than we normally do. I think we only completed about 73%, so we had to work hard defensively. So I was very pleased with that, and and the things that we worked on through the week with our defence, I thought was very good. With the football, once we were a bit more composed with the football and just running hard and supporting each other and finding the ground, trying to get quick play of the ball, and then we play off the back of that. I thought we handled that a bit better in this second half, but I certainly think that we can play a lot better with the ball if we're allowed to play through the finals.
Now going into the knockout stage, are you behind where you thought or hoped you'd be, or is it sort of giving it like we're chopping and changing?
Oh, I think because we're chopping and changing, that doesn't help our cohesion and combinations. So, but next week we'll play our best side. We're going into the knockout situation, so our best side will be playing next week.
Is that how you always intended to do it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so the players are fully aware of that too. So I mean, you got to remember that. I mean, I'm not offering any excuses, but Jimmy Maloney and Benny Hunt, their first game for a month, basically. So a bit clunky at times, but obviously everyone will benefit from that run. I mean, we had to work a bit, fairly hard defensively, and I thought we did that, and rested Cameron, which is good. So he goes into next week's game really fresh, and all our key guys, have had enough footy and to up the ante, I reckon, next week.
Now, what does your best side look like? What are the difficult decisions you've got to make over the next few days?
Well, I think 6 and how our bench is made up, I reckon. So we're going into really humid, hot conditions up in Darwin. So fatigue will set in a little bit. So maybe mobility could be a key for us up there.
You worried Woodsy might not be there with that tackle?
Well, he did lift above the parallel, but it was put down pretty softly. I think penalty was sufficient in that case.
Clayton
Yeah, for what? Chesting him.
Dan, what was it like out there? Was it hard to get that continuity towards you?
Yeah, I think that's what the first half really lacked. Obviously, I wasn't out there for the second 40, but there really wasn't any sort of fluency in the game for both teams. So, yeah, we come into the sheds at half time and I could see the frustration on everyone's faces, and I was quite frustrated myself, to be honest. We just couldn't get any sort of roll on with the footy. Defensively, I was very happy with what we produced tonight. But yeah, we got frustrated, and then I think we went searching a little bit. We went searching for some points instead of just sort of working towards building pressure on them and getting the points on the board. But we rectified that at half time, and I thought the boys did a really good job in the second 40.
And did they surprise you? They played with plenty of passion, obviously, a lot of fans. Did they surprise you, sort of the way they came out?
No, not really. I was just saying to Mel on the way over, it's quite similar to last week when we played the French. This isn't a lot of those guys. It's an opportunity of a lifetime to play against the Kangaroos, and that's the way they played tonight. They played like this is the only time they'll ever play against Australia, and first test match between the Kangaroos and Lebanon. I thought the crowd was fantastic, particularly down in that far corner. They were very spirited. They did not let up the whole game, but that's what this World Cup's about. I thought it was a fantastic game. I congratulated their players after the match with the way they played, and they hung in there, even though sort of the game was sort of out of reach by about the 60-minute mark. But not surprised at all. We knew that that's the way they were going to come out and play the entire 80 minutes.
I saw Mitchell Moses comes out for the game, asked for a jersey. Did that surprise you?
No, I was given a heads up during the week that he was going to come for me. So, no, look, he's a fantastic young talent in our game, and it's always nice when you get a young bloke to come up and ask for an old fella's jersey, and hopefully he puts it somewhere nice in his house. Sorry? No, I heard a whisper around the traps that my mutual friend that he was going to hit me up for it. So it was lucky that I got the heads up, because one of the other players come and asked me beforehand. So I just said, "Oh no, I got to keep it for Mitch. Sorry, mate."
Now it's strange being at home but not having all the support of the crowd. No?
Sorry, say it again. Support.
Yeah.
We knew it would be weighed heavily towards Lebanon. I think it was good. They've done really well through the qualifying rounds. They've beaten France, and France were very impressed with France last week. They took England to the wire again. They performed very well, and against us they performed very well. So they've done really well in the qualifiers, and congratulations to them for making the quarterfinals. I think they deserve to be there.
How much of a change up is Darwin now?
Sorry.
Not many games are played at Darwin, particularly. Never this time of year. How much of a change up? How much thought have you put into it?
Well, that's part of our rotation, policy. We're trying to obviously give players enough games, but also to rest them at the same time. It's going to take a lot out of them, playing up there because of the humidity, and they're playing against Samoa, a very physical side who haven't played well through the qualifiers, but it's all of a sudden it's knockout, and they'll come pretty well fired up. So I think we've done really well. I think we've given players enough match fitness and time, and I think it's going to be difficult, but I think we'll handle the conditions and get through that, and then hopefully move forward.
Would you prefer not to be going?
No, we want to go there. We want to go there. We want to play up there. It's a great frontier for us in rugby league. We want to propagate our game. We should, make sure that that's what the World Cup's all about, the showpiece. So we'll dealt those cards, and we'll handle it really well, and we'll play really well up there as well. Sorry? We used to together or something, eh?
Yeah, it would have been the first one.
Same beard. Look at this. Who's grew it first? Well, they were great today. I watched the back end of the game, and they're playing with a lot of passion, aren't they? And they're really connected to their homeland, and they want to play for their people, they want to play for each other. So I mean, it was a tremendous victory and a really good kick along for the World Cup and what it's trying to achieve around giving people opportunity. So it was a really good performance, and they go top of the pool, and with a great chance of making the finals.
Now, Aussie Kiwi final for the first time in a long time. How do you guys feel about that?
An Aussie Kiwi? What do you mean, semi-final maybe?
Yeah, sorry, grand final.
It's not possible.
Yeah.
It's not,
Yeah.
It's not possible.
yeah, no, it's not possible. No,
Sorry, so
yeah,
it's not possible.
yeah,
How do you guys
not
feel
possible.
about that?
It doesn't. Well, we just got to worry about ourselves. We've got to get there first. So we've got Samoa to think about. And I know it's cliched, but we've got a pretty torrid game up, and the heat and humidity of Darwin. We've got to get through that first.
Is that part of your thinking now with naming your best squad next week? The fact is that you play New Zealand in Sydney?
No, it was always part of. I think as you get progress, you're playing better teams. We've had a good preparation through our first 3 games, so you need combinations. You need to start cohesion going into the back end of the tournament. Some Tonga, Samoa, New Zealand, and England have done that. They've sort of stuck to a team of players that are playing regularly all the time. So we've chose another tact, but from next week we'll make sure we pick what I think and we think is our best 17 players for the game.
Another 2 tries for Munster tonight. How much food for thought is he giving you?
Well, he's a great player. It's certainly suits the centre. I mean, I thought Tommy Turbo was pretty good tonight for us as well, if not probably our best player. So those young ones are putting pressure on the older fellas, which is fantastic. That's what we want to see. And that's the depth of Australian Rugby League at the moment. We've got all these great young quality players and getting an opportunity and and putting pressure on the older fellas, and that's what we want.
Cameron, obviously for the first game against England, you broke up that Melbourne Storm spine that was replicated in Origin. What are your thoughts on how much pressure he's putting over that number 6 jersey to get back there?
Yeah, well, I think he's putting a fair bit of pressure on there, given the season that he had in the NRL. Obviously, Mal regards him as a quality player. He just mentioned that, but he's quite versatile as well. So he's not just locked into that 6th position. That's probably Mal spoke about it earlier. That's probably a position where he's got his biggest headache at the moment. But nice headaches to have. If he's not in our starting side either, he could quite easily slot into a 14 also. He's robust enough to play through the middle. He can fill every position in the back line. So I think he's certainly, with his performances, he has put his hand up to be a part of this side and throughout the finals campaign.